just about all here that we're expecting.
That's
So
it.
I'm going to call the meeting to order. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the August Council on Aging Board meeting. Why don't we do a quick round of introductions before we get started? I'm J.D. Miller, I'm the board chair. To my right,
Linda Hayes, director.
Janice Desmond, member.
Janice LeBlanc, member.
Joan Powers, Lesion for South Shore Elderly Services.
Leslie James, board member.
Lucille Sorrentino, board member.
Gordon Price, vice chair.
welcome everyone. I know we're missing a few people due to conflicts and last minute changes in schedule, I believe, so, but just to carry on, why don't we start off by, if everyone could take a few minutes to review your July minutes. And I do believe, Janice, you're taking minutes today, right?
I am.
Okay.
I'm just gonna send in up these details.
I'm gonna say that right now, right at the start. That's what we welcome your translations. We're gonna talk about this in a sec, but you did receive the hearing devices, right?
I just did.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to put that in the last.
Well, you said you submitted a grant, you didn't say if it hasn't been approved or,
Really? Because when I did, all right.
so that's good. So you haven't, just to mention that today, right? I was going to follow up with that with Janice, you're right. A 4-page review is probably,
Yes, you get every word. It was
I read it a
we
little bit.
welcome her input, we welcome your input.
She may be watching.
But we probably don't need 4 pages. Very comprehensive,
Yeah.
very comprehensive. I read them online and didn't realize that if you printed them out, it was 4 pages long, so.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as
Second.
written.
Very good. Linda, why don't we turn over to you? Or, we don't have any staff here, right? You said-
We don't have any staff here, I'm afraid. No, Jenny couldn't make it, and it's August, and it's fine. I think we have plenty of meetings for them.
Okay.
I did include in your packet, I don't know if it ended up in the front or the back, but there is a list of all of the board meetings to come for the new year
good.
technically.
Okay,
So
good.
we are in the FY '19
Okay.
calendar year, so they're all standard, second Thursday of the month at 4:30. So if there was a need for any changes.
4:30 or
that's
5:30?
5:30, did I say 4:30? I didn't mean to. Sorry.
So these are all the second Thursday.
Yes.
Okay.
So, in the past,
Unless
not
we, you
recently,
know.
we have changed on occasion to another week.
Yeah.
but I didn't foresee any of those issues.
Yeah. Or that snowstorm on February 13th, yeah.
Right, right. But just obviously, it's nice if we're in advance, know our dates.
Definitely.
Less conflict that way. All right, so I apologize, I just realized I didn't fill in a word I had meant to. So in my report, under Senior Center Project at the beginning, just mentioning that the Public Building Commission had met on July 31st, and JD and I were in attendance there, but it was just Steve Kirby, our OPM, who really reported at that point that the architect was finally, I guess, instated and on board and beginning the work. So that's all there was to report, in effect. But what I didn't say here is they were beginning the work, in fact, last week to evaluate the exterior, they call it the envelope.
Right.
The envelope review portion of their assessment of the existing building proposed for removal, as well as, I believe, the A wing, which was part of the original scope anyway, but the B wing was additional, and they have started to do that review. And then what I didn't say in my report there is that I have been emailed by Joe Bergman, who is the architect, lead architect on that. So I am meeting with him on Monday. It took a while for the meeting, once the email started, to settle on a meeting date. So, but Steve will be there, and I'm not sure, it seems like Carl was going to come, who's from the Public Building Commission, so I'm not quite sure. But basically, he was just asking to review the program that, nicely enough, since he was the architect for the feasibility study,
Yep.
we did this. We didn't maybe have to do it to the extent that I would hope to do it for the building architect, so I'll do it again. I mean, I have my notes, the program is virtually the same that we would be requesting, more or less. 15,000 square feet is what he is still continuing to propose. Whether he thinks he has to, I'm not sure, if that's just been the number that the town seemed to have approved of. So anyway, that's what we're talking about. So it's an initial meeting, I don't know more than that, but
That's good.
that's good. So also transportation, I met with Frank Gay a couple of weeks ago, and we are receiving a second GATRA vehicle, a 12-person. So we, as you know, have a 12-person that is town-owned, COA-owned. It's not doing so well. So we are going to still have some body work. We had to have a fair amount of mechanical work done this past month on it. I mean, we like the van, the drivers like the van. It says Scituate COA on it. We like that. It doesn't say GATRA. But, and John White can drive it, who is one of our drivers. Because the GATRA vans just aren't as available to him, but he drives that one more regularly. So we figure the bigger the better, so one 14-person from GATRA as we've had, and then a 12-person.
Can I interrupt? And there are two different driving requirements. It's a different driver for the 14 versus 12? Or
That's not, you don't need a CDL license
Okay.
if that's what you mean, no.
Yeah, okay.
No, they're just
So
required.
either, any driver can drive either the 12 or the 14?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, there may be preference, but.
And that's the reason they
Okay.
stop at a certain size.
Yeah.
Because after that, we
Okay.
have to go through it. But we had a meeting with the drivers, with Kathy being on board new, and just asked for their input and maybe they had some concerns, so there was some discussion, and we've really been looking at the policies. And if anybody would like a copy, I didn't include it, but I'm trying to redo the brochure and make sure we've sort of covered everything. Then every time we think we have, there's another issue that arises. There are many. Transportation is just a constant. We traditionally haven't
It's a huge
transported
service,
people
though.
that do a day, day surgery, cataract surgery, for instance. But they get anesthesia, so we at least require a companion. Well,
Then that's a whole.
when someone doesn't have it, they don't want a companion.
That's a
They
whole-
dispute it,
Yeah.
let's just say,
Yeah.
someone has disputed it. So I went back to look at it, like, do we really need it? I don't know. But the doctor's office recommends they have a companion, so
Yeah.
if they do
Yeah.
it, we do.
Yeah, sometimes it's required, yeah.
And, I've said this before, but we're not door to door, so to speak.
Are the other riders disputing that they need to have somebody
Yeah.
with them? Yeah.
If they don't happen to have someone, that's easy for
I mean,
them
the
to
driver
attend.
can't be that person.
No.
Driver can't be
So-
that person, and we say
Yeah.
that. They're fine. So it's just things like that crop up, or we're not supposed to pick up at Life Care or any assisted living facility. They should have their own transportation there. And then somebody wants to visit their mother, but
Hmm.
And then someone this week was trying to discharge their mother. He had a wheelchair. We transported him because he said he had a medical meeting. We let that go a little bit. It's supposed to be, well, it didn't have to be because it was in Scituate, but told us it was medical, but really it was a meeting. And really, he was there to discharge his mother. Or tried to, which he didn't end up succeeding at. So, just saying, we get a lot of double speak and a lot of whatever they think they need to say to get. So it's been a little trying, but Kathy has been fabulous, great, and not only that, with, of course, the numbers and the money, she's embracing that, and we're gonna be good. So as you know, of course, AARP and WHO have accepted us. We are in the age-friendly network. They have designated a representative for us from AARP. So it happens I have met this man before, and this is a promotion for him, that he is the director of the age-friendly network for the Boston office. So I don't quite know if it will be him yet or someone else in their group who will come down and formally give us the certificate that says we're now part of the network. But we are planning to do that at the walk, so I
Good.
have informed him of that date.
Great.
But this point of contact, you know, we would notify of any achievements, anything we want media attention for, any support we need, any technical help, anything, any questions. In fact, I did ask your question, but I didn't hear back.
Good, okay.
So,
I've got some media attention coming your way also.
oh, I already heard it. So the social senior news? Well, interesting, and that's not in my report either, so JD initiated a contact with Social Senior News, which is great, and we have those here, of course, whenever they print, which is every
Well, so
other month, I
that's,
believe.
no, that's the issue. Their print run usually is the first week of September, and it's only once a month. So if we don't get it, if we don't catch them now, we'd miss the entire month of September, so. it
But you
dawned-
did
it-
catch her, I think.
Yeah, it dawned on me that we need to make a
Awesome.
connection with.
Well, she
with
didn't tell me
Patty.
what she needs technically
Yeah, she
for
won't,
the
yeah.
newspaper, but she did say she happens to be interviewing a woman from AARP Sunday night on their radio
Radio show?
show on ATD. Happens to be, well, I think of everybody's in-laws as my own family, but my sister's husband's first cousin, Cindy Campbell is her name. She used to be on Channel 5. She did the traffic report. She talked. Anyway, which was just funny. But so she invited me. No, I can't do it
No.
Sunday night. I don't know if you would like to go on the radio
No, call,
or
why
anyone.
don't you do a call, drive-in call?
I could do a call-in. So I think, you know, what, we'll hold off, and I'm sure since she does this regularly, we could do that sometime. I had been anticipating doing a public service announcement with ATD anyway for the walk, and for, maybe we could combine a few things that we're planning as far as this goes. So I'm sure we'd have another chance. She just
Oh, yeah,
asked me
yeah.
Sunday night, and I said,
Yeah.
well, I have too many.
We just need to make sure we got to her before, it dawned on me, we need, you know.
So that's
before
good,
the
and that's a
print-
good
print
start.
Deadline, so.
Yeah. I will mention, as JD reminded me, also not in my report here, but the assistive hearing devices that I mentioned being ordered, I thought I had mentioned being ordered. It wasn't so much a grant from MCOA as an opportunity to buy these at a hugely reduced cost. So what might have been, you know, well over $1,000, I paid about $250 for something that just needs to be installed with our speaker and our system here, and then they have personal devices that they wear. So that's one, and then I got, just to test it out, something called a pocket talker for an individual one-on-one conversation if someone's hard of hearing.
Yeah, I know that, it's almost like a pen.
So-
You do this, and be able to hear what you're saying.
Okay. I literally just got
Yeah.
this, so I haven't opened it,
And that
and I
work-
need
that
to test
works.
that with someone, so.
That works.
Okay. But that is great, it was really wonderful, so that's overhead for us at that cost, but still, it was, we wouldn't have been able to do it otherwise. But Charlie, my sound guy here, will install, I think, hopefully next week. So next time we have a presentation, we will have a microphone. I
Good.
think, too.
That's great.
Yeah.
So just to update you a little bit, the 50-plus Job Seekers Networking Group, which really I think is becoming a good thing for us here. We piloted it, which we were only able to do because Susan Kelly, being a Scituate resident, was able to volunteer for us, so to speak, on the tax work-off program, and she just is finishing next week, so she's been doing this for us since March. And it really seemed to gain some momentum. And we had a great demographic, and I think, you know, people really do need it. Now we are funded through MCOA as one of 16 sites to have been selected. Now, there's 300 and something COAs in Massachusetts. Certainly not everyone applied for this grant, but a lot did. And we were selected, and they only had 8 last time, and they've increased it to 16. Now, Marshfield does do it, but they share with Halifax, so they go back and forth every other meeting, I believe, which might have been nice to partner at that point, but I think we have enough. So we're doing it at the library this time, and I think that is going to be a good thing. We looped in Susan Pope, who is the adult programming librarian, and I think it's going to be, it's sort of maybe a good partnership. But I think it sort of crosses over into some of what the community needs that we are providing, but not just for our own demographics.
And who's going to facilitate?
So instead of Susan Kelly facilitating, which she has been, and she's awesome, quite good, knows her stuff, but she has someone else, her name is Debbie Raymond, and she has been an instructor, college level, and also a career coach or counselor, so she's good. And Jenny will still be co-facilitator, so I had brought Jenny in as outreach, thinking, you know what, it was a nice, different opportunity for her to connect with a different set of potential people, clients. So I think it's good for her, I think it's good for us, and I needed somebody to do it, so I think she's good at it. And they want someone to be sort of a robust conversationalist, someone to be able to draw some of the people in, find out a little bit more about what their needs might be, help get them settled and comfortable, and continue to come. So I think she's good at that. We did have our little 90 and over birthday party last week, which was a first since I've been here, and I think we used to do it at one point, but finally jumped in. And we were worried because, let's see, it was in the newsletter, and then we decided, well, we'll send out personal invitations. Of course, we had a target, who to target. I mean, we didn't send them to the whole town, 90 and over, but we sent out quite a few, 60, maybe, or 80. We still needed to make phone calls. And really, we were on the precipice of, you know, do we really still have this? Do I pay for entertainment? But in the end, we had 30, virtually 30 people, I guess, here.
And all over 90.
All over 90, and in fact,
Good for them.
one person was 101, and
Good for them.
she was the one that told the story, stood up and told the story, do you know what I mean?
No, who was that?
Barbara Gillis.
Yeah, okay, no, she's
Yeah.
great.
And she came, her son and daughter-in-law came with her, but it was really, it was
Very good.
nice. They felt very special, and, you know, the staff made it very
nice
nice. And I will also say that we had the help of a new volunteer who's been helpful prior to this as well for the last month. And it's wonderful. So her name is Maureen Dinsmore. She loves the kitchen. She can cook. She is savvy, restaurant, you know, my regulations requirements savvy. So she's cleaning, she's cooking, and she's sort of doing pantry, you know, assessment and trying to get us organized, which is really good, but she helped a lot for that. And the rest of the staff, you know, they all jump in, of course, and do their thing. We have had low attendance this summer. You know, we haven't had as much going on in the building, but even while we've tried, you know, we had a fabulous cafe talk with Herb Crehan again, who's the Red Sox author and writer. And it's just so wonderful, prolific. He can talk about anybody, baseball, you name it. Fascinating, but anyway, very low, which was too bad.
Does he live locally?
He doesn't, no, he's up north of Boston.
Oh, he is, okay.
But he has a daughter here who is married to John Feeney, and Joan McSweeney's son is married to his daughter.
So at least he has an excuse to.
Oh, yes, so he is around, and his
Good.
sister lives in Cohasset.
Good.
So she came. So upcoming, we do have our art and some craft sales show on Saturday, August 25th, which is at the community building. We are just gearing up for that publicity, and I have a flyer, and we'll use the sandwich boards. And, you know, for the job seekers group, that sandwich board I've mentioned right in front of the community building has been probably the most successful form of advertising. So now we need to borrow that and do it for the art show as well as maybe the walk as well. It's just funny, everybody does
You got people
drive by, walk
driving by,
by.
and they catch, everybody catches their eye on those signs.
And it's so wide open, I guess maybe it's just curiosity in a way, everybody looks at it. We do have our lobster lunch on August 28th. I did hire some entertainment for that. We are charging for that, which will cover certainly the lobsters and the food and hopefully enough of the entertainment. But I did cut it off at 53 for this room and the entertainment. Could probably squeeze a couple more in, but I'm not.
Is the food prep normally being done by staff?
Except for the lobster.
Lobster rolls are being ordered?
No, lobsters.
Lobster.
We crack them.
Okay.
Joby will get us the
Mhm.
lobsters at
Mhm.
good price. He did a nice
Mhm.
job. But otherwise, we will prep here.
Yeah.
And we have done that before. It's worked out well.
What day of the week is that, by the way?
The 28th.
28th is a Tuesday,
Tuesday.
Tuesday lunch. So if anybody wants me to squeeze them in, we can. Or volunteer if you'd like. So I added this because I think I'm going to say yes, but the candidate for our state representative, Patrick Carney from Scituate, did communicate an offer that he wanted to have known as ice cream, if I could, pay for that for some event. And I hesitated, first of all, because I wasn't sure I could say yes to that, just because, if he asked to come in and do a talk, I would have said, well, I have to invite everybody, and we should do more of a panel. And But, I asked Lorraine, who was gonna pass it to Jim, but I haven't heard back, and I think I could probably say yes, as long as he really wants to. If we did it for the lobster luncheon for dessert, it's well over $100, maybe $150, about $250 in ice cream, so
Mhm.
unless they give us a deal.
They do that though, at my mom's place, the senators, they do that, they order a pizza or have a pizza party. And they
Well,
don't speak
yes, no, that is fine if they're already elected.
If they what?
He's a candidate.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
That's,
the difference.
that's the difference. So that's the only,
Absolutely
otherwise,
right.
yes, Patrick O'Connor had been here and they did an ice cream thing, which was nice. So I think I can and I think I will ask him if that amount is okay, because like I said, we have 53 people plus some volunteers, that's a lot of ice cream. But Nona's did nicely enough donate a whole tub of ice cream for the 90 plus birthday party. That was very nice.
Who did that?
Nona's.
Nona's.
Oh, nice.
Because we have hired them and paid for the 4th of July, we use the truck, and we pay for that, even though I'm sure they give us a deal. So we are planning also, just to mention, to participate in the Scituate Education Foundation Passport Day. So that's where they gear programs around town through businesses and other organizations for the preschoolers who aren't in school, that sort of first week of school. So we've had the past couple of years, a few young families, toddlers have come in with their moms and brought cookies, let's say they made, and they say hi. And we try to do it during a time when we have some people here, so I think it's been mahjong or knitting. But lucky enough, that week we have Dick Wainwright coming in
Yeah.
to talk about his latest book, The Tale of the Scituate Lightkeeper's Daughter. Cool. And it's over there if anybody wants to look at it. So thought that would be a nice opportunity to bring them in. And Maureen loves to make cookies, and Lisa got a cookie cutter that's a lighthouse. So, you know what, they're gonna decorate cookies and listen to them reading and his story about, how he came to this particular tale. So, sounded like a good opportunity, so it's an intergenerational cafe talk. And he was fine with it, I did ask him first. So Heritage Days, I finished the postcard, I meant to put one at each of your spots, but I have them in the back there in the basket. And we did put them at the FOSS table, and they did happily give them out to as many people as they could. But obviously, there's many, many, many more, so we will be distributing them until they're gone. But I did squeeze more in, I did put a little blurb about being age-friendly. I did,
Do you have them anyplace else in town?
not yet,
Okay. Like, yeah, we could throw some up at town
And
hall, we
can't you
could put
leave
some
them
over
yeah, like we do
Hennessy's, we
with so
could.
many of
we
the.
The
could-
library?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm sure Finder thinks we have some.
Yeah.
He'd say like
Yeah.
that.
So, we can put them around town, just to,
we could.
I mean, at some point they'll be aged, but they're not.
Well, I did put a lot of fall things up
Yeah.
to the Veterans Day concert, which also.
Yeah, that's,
Okay, so the Family Fun Walk, I do have, gosh, this has been an exercise, but I do finally have what I think is the last flyer, ready to be, really printed, but I do have them for everybody to look at, if you don't mind, one more time. And the thing that sort of kept changing a little bit was the time, a little bit was how to really solicit the interest, both maybe semantically, I guess, but also what would encourage them. You know, do I ask for pre-registration? Do I tell them there's T-shirts? Do I, you know, what do I say? So I think we have come to this, which is a busy flyer, but this, it all needs to be said. It just needs to be there. But the Go for Life designation is what MCO is proposing for all of the sites doing the walk. So this is also an MCOA initiative that we're participating in and received $300 for. And then we're using it, of course, as the age-friendly kickoff. You know, the Scituate Harbor Community Building, it's important they know where that is and that there's parking, the routes. So we changed the step off to 11:30 to hopefully be enough behind any church services, but ahead of the Recreation Department is using the building that we'll be in. So we want it to be out by 1:30, and I had mentioned before the Patriots aren't until the evening, so I was good there. But hopefully 11 o'clock is okay to start the program. You know, we need to give instructions per Sergeant Gil Martin. Of course, we need to tell people literally how to walk safely and you know, what the guidelines are
Against
for.
the roads, things like
Exactly.
that, probably.
We didn't need a detail, which is nice. And Town Hall is distributing it to all the department heads, and I will talk to the fire chief about it too. But we didn't need to have an EMT on site, but as long as they know about it, then if they were to get a call. And what else? You know where to call, hopefully to get them to pre-register. So I finally did settle on pre-register first 50 receive a free t-shirt. Even though I think I'm still going to go out and try to get a sponsor or two for t-shirts because they are still expensive and I don't really have that.
Do you have a number in mind as far as what you'd expect from a sponsor?
Money-wise, well, just really to cover the t-shirt, so if I could say $500.
500? 4 or 500?
Maybe 4. I mean, because after that, I think we charge. Now, some people think we should charge $10 for a t-shirt and not make it inexpensive, but they might only cost us $7. I was
Right, but
thinking
that
$5 for a
But that was
t-shirt.
an order of 100.
Mhm.
Now you're dropping down. to
Oh,
50.
no, that's
Oh.
just the free ones.
Okay,
And
okay.
then there'd be
Yeah,
100
so
or
we got
150.
we got a quote of about $700 for 100 t-shirts, so $7 a t-shirt.
So, that was a decision, you know, what to do for the giveaway and whether to, how to make the decision in time to get it on the flyer. I'm just saying, it was, you know,
You've got a sponsor for the first 50.
not yet.
Me.
Oh,
Oh,
I'll do the first 50.
awesome.
oh, okay.
Very good, thank you.
Very nice.
That's very nice, so, yep, it's gonna be on the, well, they suggested, you know, even Sergeant Gilmartin, or maybe put the sponsors' names on the back, and that way as everybody walks, I know, and we don't have to, but, so we had talked about what to do with the t-shirts, and whether to have buttons as well, but, or bracelets or anything, but I think the t-shirts, people like t-shirts.
Yeah.
I think the t-shirts would be great if we can pull them off, so that's very nice, thank you, Gordon.
Thank you, Gordon. So, all right, well, I would like to have another meeting next week.
Is this the final?
I think it's the final, unless
Okay.
anybody sees anything glaring or has a.
Well, I was gonna suggest maybe putting end time at 1:30, so
Okay.
people will know.
Yeah.
That they
to
sort of
leave.
gotta be done.
If we have to get them
by
out, you know,
Yeah.
in time.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So they'll know, oh, it's getting close to being over.
Mhm.
They'll-
I had it at first, and then, of course, we kept changing it, and I said, well.
Yeah, but I mean, if you
just
have to
start
have
time.
people out of there and then like clean
Yeah,
up
we-
and stuff for the rec department, then.
You know, refreshments and entertainment following walk. I mean, I don't know how much we'll have going on. I did, not myself, actually, I shouldn't say that. Someone had suggested trying to incorporate some educational activities or just some fun informational stuff about Scituate history, coastal information, lighthouse information maybe, and, you know, especially if we do have families and kids, way to get them involved, and then to go over that. So whether it's an icebreaker in the beginning, or whether it's something they can do along the walk, and then, you know, get together and have some announcements made and maybe some prizes for answers, something like that would be fun. But again, that needs planning, so I would love to have another meeting of people I know. I had help with the initial subcommittee in trying to get to this point, but we need to do some more work. So next week, if anyone's available on Wednesday at 3:30, I think that's what I'm targeting. Unless nobody can make it, and we'll pick another day.
Are you gonna share an email to people? I mean, the rest of the board and everybody
Sure.
else, so,
Yeah.
okay.
I wanna mention, just in case I forget, that if there's gonna be kids there, maybe, I don't know, I know you have to have the, distributing food, do you have to
Mhm.
have certified, but would popsicles be?
I have to get a permit, and I was
for
actually,
popsicles, like if they're prepackaged?
oh,
You know
well,
what I mean?
just in general, I have to get a health permit.
Okay.
Health department permit, just so they know we're doing anything, almost
Right.
doesn't matter what it is. I was going to maybe get one of those trucks, like the Kona ice truck.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But popsicles would be fine too. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
just end up doing that, but it's a good suggestion. It just has to go on the list when I tell her what we're
Right.
doing. So that's great.
So you said what time next Wednesday?
3:30?
3:30.
That's okay. All right, last but not least, I did get a letter thanking us for our request, indicating that, we'd made the short list yet again from the Navy Band Northeast. But, and I held sort of an interim contact, instead of having to go all the way sort of to the first level, I got to go to the second level. But we won't probably know for sure until the end of August. I'm just optimistically assuming they've really given me an indication that they want to do this one. So Mr. Lassard's been great. He got the Performing Arts Center set up, and he's in touch with that side of things. And hopefully we've got the band. So I did indicate 4 as a preference, or could be 3 o'clock. Not that it's terribly important, but the Patriots are at 1 that day, so 4 I just felt was a little bit better. But in the end, how many people would that affect, I do not know. But once we get the real go-ahead, then we could use some help really connecting with the veterans organizations on our end, and then talk with Greg or some ideas about how to incorporate the kids. We already have some thoughts on that. They can certainly help with programs that day. He wants to get them involved maybe with one of the conductors for the orchestra. I don't know if they would end up having an opportunity to play or get on stage, but he's got some thoughts about that too. So that's that.
Not that this is any specific detail about timing, but by November 11th, we'll have gone back to our time change, right?
Mhm.
So it'll be dark at 4,
Driving,
Mhm.
which
I know.
is okay, but 3 o'clock would be daylight, that's all.
It would, true. So, well, when they tell us, yes,
Yeah.
we can pick
I don't
which
think it-
time. He said it really didn't
I
matter.
don't think it's gonna make a
to
big
them.
difference.
I was
either way.
thinking maybe it would matter to them if they also were trying to do an evening event somewhere else nearby. In which case, they might prefer the 3, so they could go somewhere else at 7. But he didn't indicate that as yet, so he knows I'm
No,
open.
they
and
can't do anything that early, because they'll be watching the game too.
No, she means after us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean,
And then
yeah,
after that.
Yeah, but the chorus is gonna be watching the game too. They can't do anything at 3 o'clock. They gotta wait until 4, till the game's over.
Okay, well, could we order at 3?
Hopefully it's not overtime.
Will it be?
I know,
Oh,
I
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, you can't win, it's football season, what are you gonna do? So, let me move on then to Jenny's report for outreach. So she's on board now, she's 30 hours a week, and by September she'll be 35 hours a week. So, looking at increasing outreach, her opportunity to do outreach, that's something that we're meeting on and thinking about. But these are sort of her traditional areas of assistance for people. So she still saw 54 people this month for 107 various reasons or time pockets. Food assistance, of course, always, but, and I actually went to a meeting where SNAP was elaborated upon, and they're really encouraging COAs, or providing an opportunity, I guess I should say, for COAs to become partners with the Department of Transitional Assistance in the SNAP program, so that for a little more paperwork on our part, isn't too bad, we would actually potentially get reimbursed for services, interactions that we
Really?
provide.
Okay.
So there's activities that are eligible for the reimbursement. We don't get any money actually, other than Jenny's salary for outreach, so we're not in conflict anywhere. It would all be money that we wouldn't have had otherwise. So I think we're going to do that, and obviously Jenny will be the point of contact for that.
What is SNAP?
SNAP, oh, I kind of know, but now I forget.
Yeah.
It is Nutritional Assistance Program, I
Yeah.
forget what, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, I believe. But for instance, she tells you on the back page of her report, there's the farmer's market coupons which come to us through Social Elder Services. And those are very popular and a wonderful benefit. But the DTA, Department of Transitional Assistance, has offered a similar program to all clients that have SNAP food stamps. And any money spent at a participating vendor, so if they go to this Scituate Farmers Market, the man from Dayton has a particular machine so that if their card is used and they spend $10, they actually get that $10 put back on the card, it's free. So that is free food.
That's great.
That gets sort of charged back to them, you know, that does
Yeah,
no cost.
that's great.
It is great, yeah. So,
So what's that last bullet point on her report? I will begin outreach on the issue
Oh.
of senior what?
bullying, that's funny, I spoke to her, she does make some mistakes.
Bullying?
Bullying, yes, believe it or not, yes. Well,
Senior bullying.
Oh, okay.
yeah, anytime, you know, you're in a sort of,
You think of it generally happening in
Culture.
school, but
Yeah,
different
sure.
it can
culture,
happen
group
with-
cultures,
with
depending
other
on what,
generations also.
it can be
It could
social,
happen
it
in
can
the
be
housing too.
housing,
It can
sure.
happen like in the senior housing.
Yeah.
Other places that maybe have, you know, regular meals, you know, it certainly can. We used to have issues a little bit, the bingo crowd versus,
Yeah.
stuff happens. So it is something that she's been doing a little research on and is interested in providing information on.
Mhm.
But otherwise, that's pretty standard for the month of July. So transportation has been a little monopolizing this month, as I alluded to earlier, just obviously getting Kathy on board, getting the reports so that we understand them. There's a lot to that, and also using my senior center, which we have always done, and it's pretty good. It's not ideal for transportation numbers always. We can get the numbers out, we just, to do the reports, we don't always, it's not clear cut. There's some manual counting that actually has to go on. That's no fun. But she really, as I said, is embracing it, wants to understand everything. So we've already made some changes, it's good. July rides would appear to be up. Still, as you can see, the medical out of town is quite high at 198. The shopping special, I think we increased, you know, we did an extra trip to Market Basket.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that doubled.
Yeah.
It's a
Even
double.
still, I mean, that doesn't account for it, of course, but more, we've had a full van, literally, we have had a full van. And we've been using 12-person, I think. And then when that needed to be repaired, they wondered if we could use the 10-person, but we had 10 people. But their bags wouldn't fit on that, you know what I mean? It's just really an issue, so.
Which market basket do you
We
go?
went to Plymouth.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of the only, well, we
Yeah.
could have gone to the
Brockton, it's one in
Cape.
Brockton, I think, or off that way.
It's one in Bridgewater.
Yeah, oh, Plymouth is easy right off,
Mm.
exit 7. So, you know, that's good, that's good. We haven't used any volunteers or needed that this month. We are tracking now and will continue to get even better at the cancellations, which are a problem. You know, not so much for us, other than the inconvenience, which it often is, but for the out-of-town medical, that's a much more serious issue, that people don't show up or that they would cancel at the last minute. Maybe we catch that driver who comes from Plymouth, but maybe we don't. And so far, we haven't really had an issue on the cost or being charged for the rides that don't happen, but we could. So we'd like to try to prevent that. Okay, hurrying things up. Numbers for activities, but as I mentioned, other than exercise, which of course is less just because some classes aren't meeting for the summer, the ones that are doing fine, and people still are attending those. You know, we have the walking, we have a small walking group, but also the Nordic walking poles are catching on. And Lisa's been doing some instruction for people and using the library and walking around that area.
The Nordic walking poles are a great exercise if anybody wants to.
They are. So we have 10, and that was through the grant through SEF. People could buy their own, and we gotta have a line on sort of a reduced cost for those if you did one. But we have 10, so, you know, you don't need to. But it does involve a little instruction, which I haven't actually received yet. So, you know, they don't work, you assume they work like cross-country ski poles or anything you might carry, but there's a method that was conveyed, I guess, to Lisa when she went to a little bit of a training. So why not do it right and really get the full benefit of the workout, which is what they promote. So it's been good, that's great. And so I do think when we think about the walk and maybe at the subcommittee meeting, but having a demonstration there, maybe inviting some of the resources around town. You know, I didn't partner with anybody, I didn't get to it in time or think about who to partner with, but I would invite the recreation department and maybe have, you know.
And if anybody wants to
Fitness
do a Nordic walk, let them do the walk.
Right, yeah. Oh,
It'll
I was
show
going
off.
to say
It'll
that
show everybody else what's going on.
one of my first flyers sounded like I was giving 10 Nordic walking sets of walking poles away, so I changed that. So I didn't put it on there, but yeah. But ideally, they need to have the instruction first, so we would maybe encourage it with our walking people already.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, let the walking people who are normally
Yeah.
using them,
Yeah.
let them come
Use
out
it.
and use it.
Yeah.
And then everybody else that's walking is gonna look at them and say,
Advertising.
wow.
Wow, I wanna do that.
You know, it might be nice, it's diversion, I guess, but I'm thinking T-shirts. It might be
Yeah.
nice if people are out there walking,
Yeah.
if we had a T-shirt, if
Mhm.
we had a,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Senior
the
center.
standard T-shirt.
Yeah, accounts, yeah.
And, you know, we could use them in pickleball,
Right.
people pickleball could be work. So, you know, that would just give us that much more exposure.
Yes. Well-
So give some thought
Trying to make the
design-
T-shirts
designing a
nice.
generic
Yeah.
Mm.
COA
Yeah.
T-shirt.
I have a sample that was just kind of a cute one, we had done in Duxbury that I thought someday, and it says property of the Situate Senior Center,
Mhm.
athletic department, you know,
Mhm.
something like that, which is
Right.
kind of
Cute.
cute, you
That's
could
cute.
say that with the logo, or something else that somebody could
Yeah,
say.
and have
You could have
purchase
it
with,
like
you know,
a
no
white
cost.
T-shirt with like this logo on the
Yeah.
corner and this and on the back
Mhm.
too. You know,
Mhm. Yep,
something simple.
make it nice to, yeah, I agree,
Yeah.
that would be fun. Okay, I think I'm way done talking.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions? From Linda? Okay, well, we know we don't have Karen Canfield here, and Elaine, I'm gonna just talk to, canceled at the last minute. She said in her email, I'm not sure if everyone saw it earlier today, but that she wanted to report out that Foss had considered Heritage Days very successful. A lot of traffic, a lot of good support, a lot of good feedback. Made some money on the bake sale, and so it was a very positive Heritage Day weekend. And then she also mentioned September 15th, I believe I've got the date
Yeah,
correctly,
Saturday the 15th,
is,
the fashion show at St.
Fashion show.
Mary's. And they
So-
are using Sylvia's downtown for
Right.
fashions, and as well, J. Jill. Oh,
so,
And they had the big, goat drug raffle.
yeah.
They took a lot of raffles.
But that's a long-range raffle.
Yeah.
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 I can't lose my tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a lot of interest with it.
it's beautiful.
JD, when did you say the fashion show was?
September 15th. So that, she just passed along a little bit on an email earlier today, so.
And Karen, in her apology, also expressed if anybody does have questions of the board that she could answer. I mean, she's very available. You could email her or she'd take a call, and is happy to respond to something you want.
Which leads us directly to Joan Powers.
Okay, because in July it wasn't a meeting, but they met, South Shore Elderly Service met August 7th. Financial report is always given. New officers of the board are John Fleming, President, Susan Wright, Vice President, Ed Mulvey, Treasurer, and Elaine Pepe, Secretary. The state audit report on the South Shore Elderly Services was great. Sandra gave updates of Mass Home care, which are many changes. She went to many state meetings. She is chair of 2 state committees. There has got much training going on for new personnel policies with the state changes. Results of bidders for Meals on Wheels is Lindsley, who we already have, current, so we're staying with him. And we still need volunteers, especially in the kitchen. And number of clients are continuing to grow with the elderly services. Successful volunteer luncheon on June 20th. And we had pins given to people in Scituate. 5 years was Tommy Kennedy, Karen Stone, and Martha Litchfield. And Gary Ganks, he got a 10-year pin, and I got a 20-year pin.
As a volunteer, wow.
From Scituate volunteered for that period of time?
Yes.
Wow, congratulations.
Thanks, Joan. Way to go.
So the picnic is going to be on the 23rd in Nantasket Beach, and it's going to be a patriotic theme. The annual meeting is November 14th. It's going to be a special meeting, and the speaker will be a veteran, and there'll be a Marine Honor Guard, color guard.
Nice.
And then the St. Luke's Community Dinner on the 26th. Fried chicken, potatoes, and coleslaw, ice cream sundaes on the 26th.
Where do you buy your ice cream?
Huh?
Where do you get your ice cream? Just the supermarket?
We get it from the supermarket.
Just teasing. We should, maybe, I just know with the veteran concentration for social or elder services, we should get the information about the Veterans Day concert here to them.
Right.
Absolutely.
Which I think
Uh-huh.
would be good.
Joan, by the way, I'm sorry I don't have anything else to report out on this, but I have approached Jim Boudreau, the town administrator, to consider Meals on Wheels as being a tax-exempt, tax write-off job function, and therefore enabling people to volunteer and get tax
Oh, like
benefits.
seniors,
Senior tax
Seniors.
work.
because we do get quite a
But
few
he-
seniors
yeah,
that
right.
are drivers.
Of course.
So I haven't heard back from him on that. I'm not
Uh-huh.
sure what.
You know, the funny
But
thing is, I
I'd
sort
like
of.
I'd like to think that we could get more people involved if they had some incentive for some financial return,
Yeah,
i.e.
it's like mainly in the kitchen, you don't have to drive.
Right, a
We
little
just
bit
need
of, a little
help
bit
in
of a
the
tax
kitchen.
break over the course of earning some, you know, whatever it is, $1,000. And that would help us with volunteers, and it would help them with volunteer hours, et cetera, so.
It's only a question because it's not for the town, so to speak.
Right,
Otherwise,
it's
it's
under
perfectly
South Shore.
eligible, and I would do that, you know, I would be
Yeah.
able to say that.
I've talked to South Shore Elder Services, they say it's us, so that's why I approached Jim. Yeah.
Because, you know, I think a lot of people think you have to be a driver. You don't have to be a driver.
Right,
In fact, now,
serve.
like I'm doing every day in the kitchen because we don't have enough help.
right. Right, so I'd like to be able to try to incent some people to step forward if we can give them a little bit
Yep.
of break, so.
Mhm.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Joan or anything else that was sort of on the table? We should move to old business. Nothing from you were sort of looking at me
No.
based on what we maybe talked about earlier. Janice, I know you're set for a subcommittee meeting
That's right.
on the bylaws review.
I just listed it because it's pending.
Yep. Good, I was gonna mention that.
It's an action
so-
item.
I'll probably send out an email.
Please, oh yeah.
In advance, just, did we said in the morning.
We did say in the morning, I'm not sure if there was a time settled, but we did say in the morning, yes. But it's fine. I now.
We said 9 o'clock. So I'll send out an email and just kind of remind people the week before and see if anybody wants to join. And
Yeah,
Oh, it is.
I still-
I have it. I have mine.
trying to, yeah, I probably owe you a little bit of some feedback, but
I think you
it's
sent
starting,
me a
starting
couple
to
of points.
take shape.
Yep,
Yeah.
and Henry sent some comments,
Yep.
so.
Great. So that's, if anybody wants to participate, if you haven't already, it's to sort of review and almost recreate bylaws for this board.
Yep, or if anybody wants to just email, whatever, but you're gonna have to
Right.
take it.
And give us a little bit more of a working framework and document that would, if it updates us to now, it would be the first time it's been updated in about 20 years, I think. 1998, wasn't that the date that you looked at some point? So
Wow.
we should probably very easily get updated in any way, shape, or form, and then we can move forward. So that's great.
Yeah, and I think we have to determine what needs to be put before the.
Right.
selectmen.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, it was just.
Okay. I know we've sort of talked about a couple of these things already, or you've sort of talked about a couple of these things already.
Mhm. I know. Just-
Age-friendly event planning, the family, age-friendly announcements
Yes, that
is
is-
sort of a different thing than the
Mhm.
walk. We're gonna try and tie them all together, so.
Right.
What we really need to do is figure out, or invite,
Mhm.
once this is completely ready to go, invite various people to attend.
Yes,
and-
I didn't mention that, I guess I have to go, we have to go to the Board of Selectmen meeting on the 21st of August, so, that's an opportunity too, you have to be approved, but might as well use it to talk about the announcement itself and partly why we're doing the walk and why we're using the walk as that forum, so, any input there?
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? We sort of met a little bit on this the other night, but does anybody have any questions on what we're trying to do? We'd like to make a splash, we'd like to make a public announcement, we want to talk to, and we've already talked to Ruth Thompson at the Mariner, she'll be putting together an article, we talked at the beginning of the meeting, South Shore Senior News will be doing something for us, we'll be talking to cable TV, to get the word out, we'll be talking to the high school and anybody else at the beginning of the year to let them know about those kinds of things. I've already connected a little bit with them via email, but, so we want to pull this all together down at the community building, have people come in, have some kind of a ceremony, whether it's a few minutes or not, and I'm sure politicians are going to want to speak, and then set off on a walk.
Politicians? You think they'll be there?
I know, sure.
Yeah, sure, we might invite
We'll invite
Joan Machino and Patrick O'Connor, and, yeah, might invite them to come down, whether they show or not, who knows?
Whoever makes the cut on the primary.
Yeah.
Sure will. Oh, right, we'll have,
Do you have a date?
Yeah, that's
so that's the
23rd.
23rd.
Oh,
That's
that's
all
what you're
we-
talking about.
that's
Oh,
all
we-
that's
day.
okay.
So
We
there'll be
wanna-
a
splash.
I mean, that's the splash at
Absolutely.
11 o'clock, and then we step off at
Absolutely.
11:30.
You got it.
But we want to have AARP here to make a presentation to the Board of Selectmen, to the town
Yeah,
administrator, to
recognition
Linda,
for
to
the fact that
whomever.
we should get approved.
Yeah, so we want to have AARP here and anybody else, and we'll do all that kind of stuff, and then ceremonies wise, and then we'll set off on a walk. And the Nordic walkers will be down at the White House before we get to the yacht club, but so be it.
So at
So,
this point, we're moving to steering committee members and trying to ask and see who might be interested in doing that.
and we want to have T-shirts for people, so that when we're on the walk, people will see a T-shirt, and then those T-shirts will be all over town.
So you think we'll cover a lot of this next week on the 13th, on the
Yes.
15th? Okay, good. Because it's not that far away.
Right.
No,
No, it was July and I was trying to get everything done. It
Mhm.
was July 31st and I don't know how it became August 9th. So 2 weeks, a little behind, but we were ahead, so we can make it.
Well, AARP knows about the date, right? So,
Well, oh, I did design, I mean, I guess we discussed this the other night, we can do it at the subcommittee, but, you know, I thought of a lawn sign, I don't know if people think a lawn sign is effective enough, necessary enough, you know, it's certainly a cost, but I would have
All
some.
the candidates obviously
I
think
think
they're
they
very
are,
effective.
and Rotary uses them too.
You do, I know, the pancake breakfast.
Correct.
But you can only put so much, there's only so much real estate, so
Mm.
it's gotta be
Yeah,
real,
concise.
Well, you have to
as
find
bold
people.
as possible with
And there are
as
a lot of
minimal.
merchants down there that would support us.
Oh, yeah, they'll put them up in
Mhm.
their businesses.
Yeah.
I've used the place in Hanover, he's pretty good.
Jonathan Bond.
Oh, no,
No?
no.
Fast sign,
Oh,
the signs place?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
The name of it now, but it's right next to a hardware store on 53. He's
Okay.
good, he'll work with you. Maybe it's fast signs?
Guess I was gonna say fast signs.
Yeah.
Okay.
There weren't that much money.
Sounds like my alley.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah,
Thanks.
thanks for, okay. Last thing, I mean, for discussion purposes, and we sort of touched on that already, the Navy band, and you're working on that, so.
Yes, yes. I suppose, it's still sort of the people wanting to work on events. We could talk about both, but we could probably put that up to a second separate meeting. Although I will mention, I do think we want to make up tickets for that. Even though we're not charging, it's a free event, the Veterans Day concert. It's something that I have at least seen in other people's experiences. I think
You
they
would
want
want
to give out a
because
ticket.
a lot of people are trying to
Yeah.
go.
What we really need is to have a full audience, because that's what
Yeah.
they want too.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think
Yeah.
we all have to see how many people.
So a ticket's something they stick in
Right.
the fridge, it's a reminder, it's, you
Exactly.
know, something
We need to do that.
concrete. So I do think that's
Mhm.
important.
Okay.
Yeah, we want to tie Craig Lassard in,
Mhm.
which is middle school,
Mhm.
with high school, with the
Yeah.
Veterans Corps, choral group,
Pull out
with,
all the stops.
right,
Right.
Performing Arts Center, which will be nice,
Mhm.
so,
Mhm.
okay. Any other comments on that? Okay, anybody else have anything?
I have, I'm not sure how this works, if it has to go on next month's agenda, but we talked briefly about maybe a board member, I'm sorry that he left, perhaps a board member or rotating a board member to go to the FOSS meeting, because the communicate, we want to, if we're planning something and they're planning something, if it's too close, we can talk about it. That I'm wondering if that's a possibility, that we don't, could be rotating, that just attend and then come and give the information, but that one of their representatives comes to you too. So, I mean, I do think we need to, there's a lot going on. We're doing a lot, they're doing a lot. So.
Right, and one
they-
hand's got to know what the other is.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I don't know if that's a possibility, but I want to throw that out there and
Mhm.
see how we could do it and when we could start it, if you want to start it in the fall, in September.
As soon as possible.
So does that have to be voted on? I don't know how this works.
Mm.
I don't think it needs to be voted on necessarily, we just need to have a volunteer that says, let's,
When are the meetings?
Put in the
They're
time.
during the day.
Yeah.
When are the meetings?
Second Tuesday of the month,
At what time is it?
at 11 o'clock, the general meeting.
I can't do it.
Second
I can't
Tuesday.
see the future.
Right.
Second Tuesday.
I know, it's always been a hard time, it's just so hard to get out of the office. If it was
It's
here,
tough with work.
I could
It's
go.
tough. It would be hard for me to go with work.
yeah, and where is it?
Is
At
that
Harbor Met, that's
Harbor
Harbor
Methodist?
Methodist Church?
on the day there's not Meals on Wheels lunch. Oh, no, there is Meals on Wheels, it's just not lunch, right?
Mhm.
Well, we can.
Well, yeah, why don't we can discuss it, we can shoot around an email amongst ourselves even and say, because we've got 5 people that aren't even here,
Yeah.
to see if we can't start to get some,
Well, we're just, if you can.
anybody who's
only
working
if
is
you
gonna have a
can.
difficult
Well,
time
Exactly,
calling at
I
11 o'clock,
understand that,
so-
but anybody who isn't,
Yeah,
just pick out, okay, let's say I could do October, you could do November, that
Yeah.
type of thing, and then we could talk about someone from their group setting up something with you.
Well, that's true, but we have the liaison who comes here and could, and that would be something that our board member would go there and whether reporting or discussing or, bringing COA board sort of information, or senior center information.
Would it be redundant? I don't know, I'm just throwing this out. We
No, it's
talked
an
a little bit
important,
about it. I really
Well,
do.
we need a channel for the communication so that one hand knows what the other one's doing.
Yeah.
I mean, the truth
Whether
is,
we-
certainly I should have always been able to, or been going, but I can't go. It's just-
Well, that's why you have a board.
Next month's agenda.
Yeah. Okay.
And there are certainly people who are there anyway, I think, on a fairly regular basis, who might be connected to both, who might be,
Mhm.
but the communication channels could be regular.
Yeah, 'cause we're doing a lot of stuff. They're
Yeah.
doing a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Under consideration, anybody else have anything else? Well, we're
Nice.
right on schedule. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. I second it.
Our next meeting is
Just look at your sheets.
September 13th.
Mhm.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. These are okay.